Hello everybody and welcome back to the Leeds Lens. Slightly different setting today. In fact, I'll just have a little showing around of where we're currently at. So as you can see, this is the current view. So slightly better than it is in England, I would imagine at this moment in time. It's about sort of 20, 21, 22 degrees here. But we are here to talk a bit about sort of the situation that's going on with Leeds United at this moment. But I don't want to talk too much about Daniel Farke. We'll have a stream tomorrow when I am back in the UK talking about sort of the Daniel Farke and what he's been saying this week in the interview, because I think that's better, more to do with the live. So actually in the video today we're going to be talking about Leeds United and the January transfer window and what's actually we're expecting from the January transfer for Leeds United, because there's been a lot of stories today regarding the transfer window and over the last few days, to be honest with you, regarding how Leeds United are going to approach this January transfer window and what Leeds United are going to do. And it looks like they might offload one of the big names. And I think that's sort of got quite a lot of people worried, going, oh, it's the 49ers trying to grab money again, trying to take money out of the football club. Well, I must admit, look, the 49ers did a poor summer transfer window. Everybody knows that. We didn't get the forwards in that we needed. And I think you're seeing that, the proof in the pudding at this moment in time. You could also say that they've acted slowly on the managerial change. I'm currently not Daniel Farke out, as all of you know. Although his conversation this week potentially pushes more towards that goal. But yeah, I'm not currently there myself, but people are saying that they've acted slowly on that as well, and potentially shouldn't have been appointed in the first place even. But I want to talk about the January transfer window more, and sort of where Leeds United are at this moment in time going into it, because we are in a position, in my personal opinion, where we need to do some serious work in the January transfer window. And obviously we know with Leeds United, the PSR climate, Leeds United can't do serious work in the January transfer window. There just isn't the money in the football club and the PSR wiggle room to do that. Now, there is alternatives, which we talked about this channel before. You can do loan with obligation to buy if Leeds United stay in the division. You could do loan with options to buy if Leeds United stay in the division as well, obviously as well. But realistically, you're probably not going to get the targets you want in the January window if you're formulating deals like that, because the best players that clubs want, they're obviously going to want that income in January. They're not going to want loan with obligations or loan with options. They're usually for players, let's be honest, that football clubs are trying to get rid of. Probably not the players that Leeds United want. And we know Leeds United need to get, we need more attackers, we need more quality in the final third. I think that's been evident, especially over the last few weeks. So it will scare people, but I'm not opposed to actually Leeds United losing someone in the January transfer window and maybe losing a big name. I think there is options there, because I was talking about Dad and a few of my family members who I'm on holiday at this moment in time, sort of talking about which players could we lose. I think Stroud, maybe I've mentioned this challenge as an obvious one beforehand. I'm not as sure on that at the moment, if I'm being totally honest, because I look at the way Biel's adapted to the Premier League, and he's not quite adapted probably in the way I'd like. So I don't really, and I think Stroud did all right when he played actually. So I'm sort of forecasting potentially him coming back into the team at some point. So I don't really want to get rid of him as an option. So, and Tanaka, I think as well. I know we've got options in the midfield: Longstaff, Stacks, Ampadu, etc. But after that, there's literally no depth. So I don't really want to do Tanaka. Bogle potentially, but he's been again pretty decent at right back. Although obviously we have got Justin there. So for me, he's a no. The only one that is obvious in the Leeds United team at this moment that Leeds United could cash in on terms of PSR, a PSR sale, quote unquote, is probably the winger Wilfred Gnonto. He's the only one really that I can think of that sort of makes sense to cash in on. Daniel Farke doesn't like him. Now, obviously, Daniel Farke might not be manager, and that's something we've obviously talked about in the past. But he's not, for me, when he's over the last few years, really, he's not performed to the standard that I probably expected from Wilfred Gnonto. He's not done badly. I just remember the kid that came onto the scenes when we brought him in under Jesse Marsh, and he was just electric. I remember the Bournemouth game, fantastic. Obviously, set up the goal for Somerville to win the game 4-3 there. Obviously, the Cardiff game, brilliant in that game as well, back in the day. But I haven't seen that progression in his game since that point, and I thought I would have done. Now, he's still young and there still could be progression there, but it hasn't quite happened yet for him. So I'm looking at it and thinking, maybe you could move him on for maybe 15 to 20 million pounds, which is basically pure profit based on how long he's been at the football club, how much we paid in the first place for him. I think it would be 4 million, so he's got about a £1 million sort of probably book value at this moment in time. So you sell him for maybe 15 to 20 million, but say you get 17 million, and you can bank 16 million profit on the books. And you look at it and go, maybe with that money, with the way we can sort of pay for certain deals, is that a better outcome for Leeds United? And bringing in somebody else that can help, like maybe, as I said, maybe you sell Wilfred Gnonto for, as I said, 17 million. Could you get another Noah Okafor, someone of that level player on the right hand side? And I think if you could do that, maybe that's one that's worth it. Maybe it is. People will not like the idea of selling Wilfred Gnonto, and I get that because he's young. He's sort of come through our academy. I think we've still got a bond with him. I know he had all that saga about wanting to leave when we went down and stuff, which I got because he was a young kid and poorly advised at 19 years old. Potentially something that others that were these players are not Leeds United fans, are they? Do you know what I mean? So I can understand that, and I think we've moved past that as a fan base for the most of us anyway. But just as a sort of a sale that maybe could generate some money that could actually be used in, like, is Wilfred Gnonto worth it for us at this moment in time to keep us in the division over that sort of 15 to 20 million pound? I'm not saying no, I just think potentially yes. And as I said, there is players we could sell. Like, there's people talk about sell Melier, sell Aronson, sell these players. They're not PSR players. We're not going to generate money. If we are going to do it, it's going to have to and do serious work in the January transfer window without being loan with obligations or loan with options or just straight loans. We're going to need a big PSR sale, and I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers pull the trigger on it. I really wouldn't. I talked about this when we talked, because obviously Gnonto's got sort of, and he has for a while now, options in Serie A. I think Juventus have been linked. We know Inter have been linked over the past. Milan, there will be clubs interested in him, obviously, with a young sort of upcoming Italian. I don't know, I think it's a conversation that people might not want to have, but I think maybe a conversation that we might have to have at some point. So yeah, I'm going to leave the video there anyway. But thanks for all for sticking with me over this time while I haven't been away. And apologies for the stream yesterday, as I said. But what my plan is now is, if you've got to this point in the video, we're going to have a stream tomorrow evening at Friday where we'll talk about the Daniel Farke stuff, what's been going on, sort of a full recap of the week while I've been away. And then on Saturday morning, we're going to have a preview, match preview for the game. I was going to do it Friday, but I think I'm going to do it differently now. Well, I am. And then obviously it'll be Saturday match reaction, and we might Sunday match reaction, should I say? And then obviously we'll probably have a Sunday 8 PM stream as well, if there's a few talking points as well about it. So yeah, that's where we're at. But thanks all for watching. As always, I hope you've enjoyed the video. As I said, apologies for the different setup, but I hope you've enjoyed a bit of sunny Spain like I have. But yeah, see you all later, everybody. Bye for now. Thanks for watching. See you later.